All right, guys. All right, my lovely viewers. Welcome to Frank Teaches DevOps. Yes, guys. Yes, guys. Like I rightly mentioned, Frank Teaches DevOps is now diversifying. All right, yeah. We are now pushing heavily for machine learning operations. All right, yeah. And to help facilitate that push, right? We are trying to bring up different tool sets, different tool sets that will enable that soft landing, right? That soft landing into machine learning operations. And to do that, we are starting off with a commonly used tool. All right, there's one tool that is very common, that is common to um, data analysts, data analysts, data scientists, machine learning engineers, obviously Python engineers. All right, yeah, a lot of persons call it an IDE. They call it an IDE. That's an integrated develop a web based, right? They call it a web based IDE, and that tool is called Jupyter Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, you heard me right. Jupyter Notebook. So this is a web-based IDE for developing your applications that are based on predominantly Python. Predominantly Python. All right? Predominantly. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can't use Jupyter Notebook for other programming language, right? So today I'll be showing you a lot of things concerning Jupyter Notebook, because Notebook has been there for a very long time, and the absorption, okay, of Notebook has been very, very slow. All right. Reason being that not a lot of persons, do Python, and not a lot of persons are machine learning engineers, right, or data scientists, or data analysts, or Python engineers. However, this tool, Notebook, is now becoming the de facto tool among the community of data analysts, data scientists, ML engineers, Python engineers, and a whole lot more. And a whole lot more. All right. So in today's video, I'll be doing a lot of things. First, deliverables. Deliverables. All right. So these are my deliverables. First, what is a notebook? A Jupyter notebook. Jupyter notebook. What is it? Secondly, all right, we shall look at how to install, right, a Jupyter notebook. Let me just abbreviate it, JPNB, Jupyter notebook, right? How to install a Jupyter notebook. All right. Now, how to install a Jupyter notebook on an EC2 instance. On an EC2 what? Instance. Now, the behavior, I will explain this now. The behavior of Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is not designed to be accessed remotely, right? You can't easily access a Jupyter Notebook remotely. However, right, we can set up Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter, and use Nginx as a reverse proxy. Okay, I'll come to that aspect, right? Because Jupyter Notebook, you can only install it on your local machine, local, so that whenever you want to access it, you just come to your browser. So now this is my local machine, right? Now I want to launch my Jupyter Notebook. I can say JupyterLab, Jupyter JupyterLab. So JupyterLab, it launches a web-based IDE. However, it's from my local machine, right? I install this JupyterLab on my local MacBook. So to access it is very easy. It's very easy to access it on the local MacBook. However, in a scenario where I need to use a remote machine, all right, you can see now, it's very easy to access it. You can see this is my what? JupyterLab. It's very, very easy to set it up locally. But how do we set it up on a remote machine? That is what this video and more is all about. Let's go back there. Let's go back, guys. Let's go back. So now, how to install Jupyter Notebook on an EC2 instance. All right. Now, set up Nginx as a what? Reverse proxy to access your what? Jupyter Notebook remotely. And the next we shall have, once we're done installing Jupyter Notebook, then we need to take us around getting started with what? Jupyter Notebook. So we will need to what? And hold you, all right, and show you how to use Jupyter Notebook, right? All the tooling, what they are, how to start, your journey into using Notebook for your development experience. All right. That being said, guys, let us now start the nitty gritty. All right, guys. So I hope I'm still recording. Perfect. Now, what is Jupyter Notebook? Like I earlier mentioned, it's just an IDE, right? A web-based IDE for development environment that gives that experience, right? But let's look at what they have on their website. Like I said, Jupyter.org. Jupyter.org is their official website. So let's see what these guys they said about their tool. Free software, open standards, and web services for interactive computing across all programming language. That's how they describe a Jupyter Lab. First is JupyterLab. All right. Now within JupyterLab, there is a Jupyter Notebook. Right. So there are a lot of other services within JupyterLab. But let's look at Google first. Jupyter Notebook. Let's see what it is. A notebook. Okay, this is a lab. It's the latest web-based interactive development environment for notebooks. JupyterLab. For notebooks, code, and data. Its flexible interface allows users to configure and whatever. All right. This guy says Jupyter Notebook is incredibly powerful tool for interactively developing and presenting data science projects. It combines code, visualizations, etc. All right, etc. So in this, let's look at what Wikipedia says. It's a web-based interactive computational environment for creating notebooks documents. All right. So without further ado, guys, let's get started. So we've seen what a Jupyter Notebook is. So now let's start with how to install a Jupyter Notebook on an EC2 instance. So for that, I'll go to my AWS environment and I will launch an EC2 instance, right? So let me call this guy my JupyterLab, JupyterLab server. All right. I'm going to be using Amazon Linux. My instance type, I will touch it up a bit. I'll say 2 CPU, 4 GB of RAM. And I have my key pair. That's it. My network, I need to expose it to VPC, my VPC and the subnet, a public subnet, and my security group. And mind you, I'm taking everything. This security group is just a test environment. On this my security group, I have almost all the ports opened. All right. So mind you, Jupyter Notebook runs on port 8888. All right, but I'll come there when we get there. Now launch the instance. Great. So let's view our instance. View, and val. These are lab, right? Connect, copy, Come to your terminal. All right. There was an active session. All right. I've quit that active session. Now, I don't want to go that way. Look at now. SSH. See, I'll show us something. Control V. When you access a remote machine via SSH, all right, it does not give you access to GUI. You will struggle, right? You will struggle with what? Access to GUI. Now, because whenever I launch my Jupyter notebook from the terminal, it will try to pop up a, what's it called? It will try to open up a GUI, right? So once you try to open the GUI, I'm going to get an error to show something error display something 0. There's no display, meaning that the system does not have the capability to access GUI because it's character based. It's just character, right? Now, for we to avoid that behavior via SSH, we must enable X11, right? X11 gives SSH the functionality, right, to what? To make use of what? GUI remotely. So for that, I'm going to my connection string, SSH connection string, is going to have an option of dash capital X. So this dash capital X, I'm enabling X forwarding via SSH. All right, I'll hit enter. It goes and I say yes. Great. Now we are now in the system, right? Now we're now in the system. So first thing, we've launched our EC2 instance. Now we need to install Python. We already have, let's check. We need to install Python. Then after Python, we use PIP, right? Python installer package to install JupyterLab. Let's look at it. First, I want to install Python. So I'll say yum install Python. So this is trying to pick up. Okay, let's see. It's giving me Python 2. So let's say Python 3. Python 3. Let's see. So it tells me that Python 3.9 is already installed. Python was 3. I was trying to do something about version. Okay, why is it not coming? All right. So Python 3.9 is already installed. As you can see, it's already installed. Now the next thing is we need to install PIP, right? PIP is not installed on this machine. You can see I run, tells me that PIP command not found. So after installing EC2 instance, all right, on the instance, install Python 3, install PIP, all right, then finally install JupyterLab. JupyterLab. Let's go there, guys. So let me break this down. And finally install this. Great, guys. Great. Okay, great. So now let's install PIP. We have Python. Let's install PIP. So I'll say now, I'll say yum install Python 3 PIP, right? So PIP comes in this package style, right? So Python 3 PIP, I hit enter. Yes. Now PIP has been installed. So if I type PIP now, I have a response, right? So with PIP, I can install JupyterLab. So PIP is a package manager on Python, right? So what's PIP? PIP stands for Python installer. Installer is it package installer for Python. The package installer for Python. All right, that's PIP. All right, the same way we have yum is a package installer, package manager for Red Hat based, RPM based Linux distribution. We have APT, right? We have Choco for Windows. That's the same way we have pip for Python to install packages on Python. All right. So we'll come over here. We'll now say pip install who? JupyterLab. JupyterLab. So JupyterLab comes is a suite. It's a suite of other applications. All right. You see a lot of applications on what? JupyterLab. So let's look, just install JupyterLab. Let's go there. 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 All right, so we're having an error. So it's saying that cannot uninstall because it's supposed to uninstall this Python request 2.25.1. It says record file not found. Attempting to uninstall request. It says this package was already was installed by what? RPM. So for we to go past this error, we have to uninstall this package via what? RPM. So what I would do, I'll say yum remove. But before then, I don't know the full package path. All right. So I need to what? Query the packages that are already installed on this machine. All right. So I have to query. So I'll say rpm-qa grep for what? Request. You can see I have the package now. So this is the package that is causing that error. So I'll copy this package and I'll now say what? Yum remove, paste it. The package name. This should remove that package. All right. Now we have uninstalled that package. Now let's rerun our pip install JupyterLab. This should be able to resolve and install JupyterLab successfully, guys. Successfully. Yes. Now that we've installed JupyterLab, all right. Warning: pip as a root user can result in broken permission. No worry, no worry. That's just a warning. So we installed JupyterLab. Now I want to run what? JupyterLab. So I can say Jupyter. There are a lot of things. We have JupyterLab, we have Jupyter Deja Vu, Jupyter Event, Jupyter Execute, Jupyter Kernel, JupyterLab, and a whole lot, man. So through JupyterLab, we want to access our Jupyter notebook, right? So Jupyter-lab. So I'll show you something, guys. Now look at this now. Fine, it says you can't run JupyterLab as a root user. So let's exit to a normal user. I'm using an unprivileged user. Now I can now run JupyterLab, right? Let's run this. So now JupyterLab is now up and running. Look at what it's saying. JupyterLab can only be accessible. Look at, are you seeing what's happening, guys? It's in localhost, right? So it means that there is no way I can access this guy remotely. It is only within this machine I can access it. No web browser found. Error, could not locate runnable browser. Blah, 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 blah. It is up. So if I say, let me use this now, I cannot because this is not routable. If I copy it to my browser, it will not work. Look at now. I copy this to my where? To my browser. Let's come to this browser. Paste. It's localhost. It is pointing to my own local machine. All right. It will not work because this server is a remote server. So for that reason, we need to now set up JupyterLab. We now set Nginx as a reverse proxy to JupyterLab so that we can access JupyterLab on port 80 instead of what? On port 8888 locally. Right? So what that means is that the moment I set up a reverse proxy using Nginx, I will be able to access my JupyterLab and my Jupyter notebook remotely on port 80. That's the essence, guys. That is the essence. So let's do that. So I'll terminate this. I say yes. Terminate this. Yeah. So now I need to now go on what? Install Nginx. Let's go back to our notes. Install what? Nginx. Let's install Nginx. I'll say yum install Nginx-y. Great. Now I need to what? Enable Nginx. Systemctl enable Nginx is enabled. Right. So after this, I need to now create a virtual host for Nginx, right? That will route the traffic. So what I will do, I will say vim etc nginx conf.d, and I'll call it jupyter-lab.conf. All right. Now I already have my I already have where's okay. My server host. Okay, I already have my server host. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy this guy, copy it. Okay, come here, paste it. Now I will change the server name to, I'll replace it with my IP address. Okay, replace this with your IP address. Replace this with your IP address. So my IP address collidence.me, copy. Sorry. Okay, so replace this there. All right, there we are. Okay, we're all good, guys. Look at now, this is where we are doing a proxy. So since JupyterLab is being accessible, is being accessed on port 8888, right? So I am now using Nginx, right? So forward request from local to port 80 through to this address. All right, so we are all good like this. I'll escape and I will save and quit. That's it, guys. That's it. So now if I try to access, let's start Nginx first. System CTL restart Nginx, restarted. Now let's now try to access JupyterLab. So it says we should run JupyterLab as a non-root user. So JupyterLab, I hit enter. Look at this now. Still I'm having this thing, but now let's go to our browser and see what happens. So my IP address, what's my IP address? My IP address is this is my IP address. All right, copy that, go to my browser and hit enter. So once I hit enter, I'm getting this 403 Jupyter server forbidden. Now if I check the error, I should have some errors now. Look at what's happening now. It's saying something. It says that, where is that? What's that language again? Blocking requests with non-local hosts. Is blocking requests for this host. This host is not a local, it's not a local host. All right. If the server should be accessible at that time, set server app that allow remote access to disable this check. So we need to check, we need to pass this as a parameter, all right, to our JupyterLab to tell JupyterLab that please disable this check, right? Allow Jupyter Notebook to be accessible, JupyterLab to be accessible remotely, right? So in that case, I'll terminate this connection. Then I'll bring up a new connection string. So this connection string, here it is. It says JupyterLab, all right? No browser, port forwarding 888 to any IP. Any IP can access it. Now, server app that allow remote access equals to what? True. Server app the token is empty. Server app the password is empty. All right. So let's do that right away. So I will do this hyphen. Okay. There we go. And I will paste that and I'll hit enter. The moment I do this, all right. Now let's see how we can now access this guy. Now you can see now it has changed from localhost to what? To what? To the DNS name. To the DNS name of my server. My DNS name of my server is this. This is this, right? So if I come to my browser now, if I refresh this guy now, I should see that my JupyterLab is coming up, right? This is it, guys. This is it. You can see now, I'm now able to access my JupyterLab remotely with the help of what? Using Nginx as a reverse proxy. Using Nginx as a reverse proxy. This is beautiful, guys. This is beautiful. So let's look at our notes. So we've installed Nginx as a reverse proxy to access our Jupyter notebook remotely. Now let's get started. Let's get started understanding what actually is what a JupyterLab. So this is my notebook. This is my console. All right. and these are other applications you can think of. So let's start with the notebook. Click on Python 3. So yeah, so I've opened my Jupyter notebook. So this is how a typical Jupyter notebook is. But let me show us more pictures from JupyterLab.org. Jupyter.org. So these are things you can actually use JupyterLab for. All right, they call it a next generation notebook interface. Okay, and the classic notebook interface. Here it is, and then Jupyter Hub. All right, this is the workflow, and Viola. You can use Viola to also install Jupyter notebook, right? And these are people, companies that currently make use of what? Jupyter notebook and JupyterLab, right? Anaconda, IASD, Berkeley, Bloomberg, Brian Ward, Code Neuron, Clemson, etc., etc. There are so many, guys. There are so many. All right, there are so many. So guys, let's now get started. So this is a typical interface of a what? A Jupyter notebook. So this is what a Jupyter notebook looks like. So you can see we have normal menu, we have file, edit, view, run, kernel, tabs, settings, help. So files is just a normal file operation. You can new notebook, new console, new terminal, you can new launcher, right? If you have a notebook you want to open here, you can say open from path, open from URL, open recent, that's a recent notebook, right? And then yeah, maybe when you have time you can go through all of these. That's the can also duplicate the, what's it called, duplicate your notebook, right? I just have a duplicate of this notebook. Let me delete it. I don't want that duplicate. Move to trash. Move to trash. All right, great. That's fine. Edit, you can do other things. View, run, right? Okay, kernel, okay, tabs, settings. All right, guys, let's get started. Now, coming over here now, this is an untitled tab. So the untitled tab, it is an unsafe tab. To save this guy, I can do few things. I can say file, save as, save notebook, right? Save notebook. Or I can come here, right click on that tab, and can I see? Okay, it's not there. It's not there. All right. So you can always save it from here. So you can save notebook directly as a notebook, or you can convert a notebook to a Python file. Now look at this now, right? Save a notebook as, all right, and you can, okay, save and export notebook. Sorry, save and export notebook. So this is where you can convert a notebook to either a PDF, a Markdown file, an HTML, or even a Python file. All right. Great. So you can convert a notebook. So that was that. Then on here we have save, we have addition, insert a new cell. So this plus means I'm inserting more cells. So this thing you're seeing, this block you're seeing, they are called cells. They are called cells, right? So this will add. Then this to cut a cell. So if I select it, I can cut, cut. I don't want it again, right? You can copy a cell, you can paste a cell. Not just only a cell you can copy, you can also, if you have things in that cell, you select it, you copy it, create a new cell, and you can paste that thing in that new cell. You can see. So anything you copy, you can always what? Paste it, right? So if you don't want it, you can cut and cut. Now we have a play button. Every cell must be executed. Now to execute a cell, let's say for instance, I say A is 8, right? I'll execute that cell, execute it. I've executed the cell. Come over here now. If I type A and run that A now, it will display it as the output. All right, it's going to display it as the output, meaning that I created a variable called A and I assign a value to A. All right, and assign what? A value to A. So anytime I can always call I can call A. When I call A, it will display the value that was assigned to A, right? So this button is used to execute a cell, right? To play a cell. Look at now. You run this cell and advance, all right? Great. Now you can always pause or stop, interrupt the kernel. Once there is a loop, let me see if I can write small loop. Um, let me see. While I let's say something. let's I is 5. Why I less than, right? Less than 5, right? Why I less than 5? Sorry, I is 2. Why I less than 5? The condition is true, right? Print hello. So I'm going to create a loop, all right? So let's run this cell. Let's run this cell. So now you see this asterisk now. This will keep running. It will keep running. That's this. It's telling us that something is running. Print hello because I is equal to 2 and I is less than 5. And that statement is true. While I is less than 5, print, keep printing hello, hello until I come back here and change L to 6. I rerun, but it's still this asterisk that is there shows that it's still running. All right. So what this means is that I have to fill, all right, afterwards terminate, interrupt that kernel that is running this script now. I will terminate it. I will stop it. Let's stop it. It's coming on. Let's wait. You see, this asterisk will go off because that's formed a loop. All right. So originally, that's formed a loop. So let's just wait. That's formed a loop. Right now, to forcefully hey, that's hango. You can see now. Okay. Has it released? Let's check. It is still there. Oh, kernel. So we can come here, close, too long. So we can come here, kernel. Let's terminate. We need to terminate. Need to terminate that. Terminate. It's still running. No, this is still running. Still going down. Oh, so you see now, it's still running. So the only way I can exit this page, because I've caused a loop, an endless loop. So it's always advisable you avoid such scenario, right? Avoid causing such a loop, all right? So you avoid it. You can see now that's the kernel has restarted itself, all right? So that is when you have a long running process and it's not ending, you have to terminate it, all right? The next one is to restart a kernel and restart the kernel and run all cells, etc. Now, this other section is a cell type. This cell type now is a code. What I'm typing here is a code. Now, if I come here, and there are 3 types of cell type. There is a code, there's a markdown, and there's a raw, right? I've not used this raw, but I've used both code and what markdown. Now, let's look at how to use the markdown. So I can move the cell. You can see now, I can place it here. I move it to the top. I can move 1 to be down. 1 is down. I can move this. Yeah. Empty 1 is now at the top, right? So you can unjumble the cells, right? You can what? Unjumble the cells. So let's say, for instance, now I want to create a markdown. I can say asterisk list of users. So I'll convert this cell as a markdown. So I'll come here, change this cell type to what? To markdown. Once I do that, I need to execute this cell. I'll click on what? The play button. It changes that code cell into a what? A markdown. You can see now it's now looking like a highlight. So list of users. So a markdown also list of users. Frank is a user. Mary is a user. John is a user. So now this is a code. I want to convert it into what? Into a what? A markdown. I'll come here, click on markdown, and I'll run the cell. So once I run the cell, it turns to be what? A markdown, right? So this is how you switch between code and what? And markdown, right? Now, finally, we are getting down. Now, on this each cell, you can see I can move a cell up. I can move a cell, it goes up. I can bring it down, right? Now I can add a cell above. You see now I'm adding a cell above. I can add a cell below and add a cell below. Add below. add below. So if I don't want any cell, I can always delete that cell. Delete, 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 delete. So beautiful, guys. All right, beautiful. Now, as you can see, we have been doing something. We have been manually running this cell. Whenever I put a value, let me say, I say I say, okay, let me do something. Let's say print hello, this is notebook section. All right, now let me assign this to a variable. I've assigned it to a variable. Now to run this, we can normally say click on the what, the run cell button. All right, but now there's a shortcut I can use for this. All right, there's a shortcut. Let me create a cell upward, then let me use a shortcut. Shortcut for running a what, a cell is shift plus enter key. Enter key, right? So I'll set this as a markdown. I'll come here, change that to markdown, and I will run it. So shift plus enter key, control shift key, shift enter, shift enter. I have run that cell. Shift enter, I've run it. So you can see this is a markdown, right? So I want to, maybe I want to reduce this further. I can change it back to code, right? It's back to code, and I will use this. So markdown is actually a language, right? Shift enter. Come on, shift enter. It's actually a language, all right? Okay, which is mostly used to illustrate your code base on GitHub, right? On GitHub. So now I need to run this cell. This cell has not been run. I'll say shift what? Shift enter. Shift enter. It has run the cell. Hello, this is what? Notebook session. However, there's another shortcut for running a cell. Another shortcut for running a cell, and that is alternate plus enter key. Now, what's the difference between alternate and enter key and shift plus enter key? So the alternate plus enter key, once I use alternate here, right, it will run the cell and create a new cell. It will insert a new cell below the cell. Look at this now. If I convert this to a markdown, right, I want to use alternate now. Alternate enter. Do you notice something? It's ran this cell and created a new cell. That's the beauty of what? Using alternate plus enter key. So I use it a lot, especially when I need to create a new cell below my previous cell, right? So these are the tricks, I needed to show you guys. And yeah, but the most important thing was getting to install notebook, all right, and using Nginx as a what, as a reverse proxy. Thank you, my lovely viewers. All right, thank you. And that being said, I want to bring this session to a close, right? So as we normally encourage our fans, our subscribers, please like the video, share the video within your community, right? Say good things about us, spread the good words, guys. Please, we need more subscribers to our channel. And thank you, and see you in our next episode. Thank you, and have a lovely day ahead. Peace out.